don't know me, I'm Greg Muir, Chairman of Hanover, and we're very pleased to have you here. Just to reiterate, this is embargoed until 11, so for any of you who are recording, please don't get it out on the airwaves till 11. We'd like, there are other constituent members that we want to have advised of what we're doing, so please let's keep this to ourselves until 11 o'clock. As I said, very warm welcome. I will outline the agenda. We also have some people that dial in. We need people beeping as we speak, so there are some more people continuing to dial in, so it's great to have you either here in person today or on the phone. Let me just give you a quick overview of what we intend to do today. I'll give you an overview of what we're talking about. Mark will then talk about the finance company sector in particular, and Peter Fredrickson will then go through the position as we stand today, the debt restructuring plan, our repayment schedule, and details in relation to the independent appraisal reports that the trustees have received from PwC and Court of Mentor. I guess maybe I should just reaffirm on behalf of everyone at Hanover that it has been an enormous disappointment to all of us that we had to enter a moratorium. We are hugely pleased and encouraged by all the work that we've done, the work that the advisors to the trustees have done, and we are absolutely delighted to be able to talk through the media today to our investors, and we will be doing that personally ourselves through a series of roadshows across the country, starting in a week or two's time. So again, thank you to the media for coming today. Thank you also to our investors for their patience over the last 18 or 19 weeks as we have put this plan together. It has taken way longer than we would have hoped, but it is a complex exercise, and all of the parties to the process, be that they advisors, the trustees, or indeed ourselves here, have clearly needed to take their time to make sure that this is as good as we possibly can make it, and we think that that's exactly the space that we have it in. So that's an outline of the agenda. Now let me introduce to you Mark. On my left is Mark Hotchin, one of the shareholders in Hanover. Mark has 20 plus years experience in the industry and is clearly someone very well placed to be party to taking this organisation forward. He's also one of the shareholders who's party to putting up the $96 million as part of this restructuring process. So welcome Mark, and leave it to you for the overview.
Thanks Greg. Thanks all for coming. I guess there's a whole lot of areas that I'd like to talk about. The main restructure plan Peter will talk to with all the details, but obviously we're in a very difficult time, and as we've gone through this process and looked at the level of shareholder support that's been offered up, of course the market's moved during that period substantially, and we've had to relook at our position a number of times and make sure that this is in fact the right thing. And notwithstanding the difficulties in the market, we've taken, as shareholders, taken a view that we do want to see this company come out the other side. We are committed to it for the very long haul. Notwithstanding the difficulties in the market, we think this structure will get us through and out the other side. It's a big challenge, we know that. The market is in terrible shape. What we've tried to do is give ourselves some time and some additional financial support. To that end, we think this restructure will achieve that. The market is challenging, as everybody knows. The lack of liquidity in New Zealand, in particular, property market, and the deteriorating property market combined make it a very, very challenging exercise. So we've got a number of what we consider to be still very good lines out there which we're endeavouring to collect. Short of selling them, the only other option of course is to refinance elsewhere, and as no one's anything, that's incredibly difficult. We would hope over time that that frees up somewhat. The market has some form of bounce back or finds its bottom, so it can start working upwards, and we can start realising some of those assets. So we don't want to do it in a overly stressed manner. Trying to sell a lot of assets today would be disastrous. The alternative option being to this being receivership, we've looked at closely and we think it's an absolute disaster. This is, without a doubt, the best way forward, and we intend to come out the other side and stand behind the company. So from the shareholders, it's a 100% commitment, and we look forward to going forward. So Peter, if you want to walk through what the structure looks like.
So, as everyone knows, we ceased accepting funds and making repayments on the 23rd of July. We have been looking at a number of options through this process. It's come down in discussions with the trustees and ourselves. It's come down to really this debt restructuring proposal or receivership, and at the end of the day, all parties in the discussions have determined that, in their view, that the debt restructuring proposal is the best option and most likely to recover funds, a significant level of funds for investors. Look, the current position is no news to anybody. Throughout the market, this is happening. Unable to really pay every dollar of that's due to debenture holders today, but we think over time the asset quality in our book is good enough that will enable us to recover this and achieve our objective of paying 100 cents in the dollar principal to all investors, to all secured investors. The restructuring plan includes a commitment of up to $96 million from the shareholders. $36 million of that is in cash. $10 million will be deposited 2 days before the meeting. So in fact it'll be the Friday before December the 9th. It'll be in an escrow account at our solicitors. That money will stay there throughout the restructuring plan and is there to support repayments of debenture holders. So it is not for general use within the company. It's there purely and simply to support repayments to investors on an ongoing basis. There's a further $26 million of cash being put in by the shareholders to reduce debt in the Access Property Group, which will then subsequently, that group will transfer to Hanover and the Hanover Finance companies, and consideration for the transfer of that company will be subordinated to all investors who accept these proposals at the vote on December 9th. There's a further $20 million in cash being put up by the shareholders, or guarantees available from the shareholders in the year 2010 and 2011, $10 million per year, once again to fully support payment of the debenture holders and our liabilities under those commitments. The third part of the structure is the transfer of the Access Property Group. So there's a further $40 million of equity, well in fact $50 million of equity that we've discounted on transfer in to $40 million, and so that gives us direct access over significant property assets that are all saleable property assets on a going forward basis. The shareholders are locked in. These shareholder commitments are locked in. Particularly the cash and property is locked in. The guarantees are not locked in until they're actually drawn upon.